So I wanted to have you both come in because you're in the same business, but you've taken different paths to success. You've both survived. Lauren, you were saying you're actually doing better than before. Jesse, you're a survivor.
Who are you? And where are you going? What do you want? Together we'll find the ideal path on the Way to Wow Show with your host, Kevin Bemmel.
Welcome to the Way to Wow Show. While learning how airlines and large retailers have overcome their travails, I don't know that that's really so helpful. For most of us, we don't have the kind of scale and resources. So this week on the Way to Wow Show, we're going to get two perspectives on how small businesses have survived the kind of tectonic shifts the economy has been facing for over a year. Lauren Price is a native Los Angelino who's been a woman's hairstylist for 7 years. Prior to going out on her own, she worked at one of the most prestigious salons in Beverly Hills, Umberto. After hair salons were shut down in California, well, you know what? I'm going to let Lauren tell you her story. Jesse Cantillo is a native New Yorker who's been cutting hair since he was 13 years old. He learned the business the old-fashioned way, apprenticing for master barbers, honing his skills along the way until he could cut hair of any style and kind. Jesse worked in barbershops throughout the 5 boroughs, including 10 years in Manhattan. In 2015, Jesse moved to Los Angeles and, starting from scratch, built a substantial clientele in just 2 years. In 2017, he opened Barber Lab Beverly Hills. He's going to talk about how he survived the shutdown. But now, I'm going to turn things over to Lord Blaine Adams, and he's going to make a cocktail.
Thanks, Kevin. So, as you can tell today, I have an apron on, which means we're making some serious cocktails. Not really. Now, they say that all great art is theft. So, I think the same thing applies to cocktails. There's only so many really classic drinks out there that we can really enjoy. So today's drink is going to be a riff on an old school classic called a Fancy Free. So I'm going to start off with 2 ounces of the Whistlepig Piggyback Rye. I'm choosing this rye because it is 100% rye in the mash bill. So it's big and bold and has a wonderfully strong backbone that'll make this drink stand out. Now you might ask yourself, he said 2 ounces. Well, I'm making drinks for 3. So if you're making drinks for 1, you can build this in your cocktail glass. But if you're like me and serving some friends, you can build it in a nice mixing glass like this. Next, I'm going to do ½ an ounce of Luxardo Maraschino Liqueur. And fill that to my proper line and add that to our glass. And finally, this is where my own little flair comes in. We're going to add some Amaretto. Yes, that thing you might have been drinking when you shouldn't have in high school, but not telling anybody about. We're going to add a bar spoon per cocktail. A bar spoon's a really fun measurement that not a lot of people use because it's just a subtle. You're adding the essence of the things you need. It is just adding a little lipstick to the Whistlepig, if you will. So we're going to put that lid back on, and then I'm going to add bitters. 2 dashes of Angostura Aromatic Bitters, and 2 dashes of the Angostura Orange Bitters. Friends go in pairs. And now that we have all that in our mixing glass here, I'm going to add some ice. So if you remember from last time, I made a riff on the classic drink, the Manhattan. Now, you might start seeing a trend in the drinks I've brought to serve my friends here. And I like boozy, stirred cocktails because I hearken them kind of like driving an automatic car versus a manual. It takes a little more skill, a little more precision. If you're off by one little fraction of something, the drink just might be off. So I like to think that I can show off a little bit more when I'm just using boozy stuff. So next up then, we're going to go back to the ice and put ice in all of our glasses. So 1, 2, and 3 little pigs. And with just like that, and if you're making drinks for multiple people, you don't want to pour it all at once. So if you notice here, I'm going to pour a little bit in one, then I'm going to move on to the next one, pour a little bit in that one, move on to the third, and do it again. Why are you doing this? That looks like a lot of extra work. Well, by doing this, you're adding the different dilution layers of the drink. So different parts of the drink in this glass have diluted differently. So by adding it to the glasses in this way, everybody will get a consistent drink as they sip it. And almost done. To the very, very end. Don't want to waste a drop. Perfect. Now for garnish, we're going to do 2 steps. One, you're going to peel an orange peel, just as such. I'm peeling 3. If you're using a wide peeler at home, please be careful. These things are maybe one of the most underrated, dangerous kitchen tools in your house. If someone broke into my house, I might attack them with this. You can cut the fingertip off very quickly. So next you're going to take your peel and you're going to express and then wipe the edge of your glass and then discard it. We're not actually going to use it in the drink this time. Do it again, and we'll do it a 3rd time. Wow. All right, and now that we have expressed the oils, we're going to add our final garnish here. We're going to take some maraschino cherries, and we're going to put them on a fun little umbrella, because who doesn't love umbrellas? They keep you out of the sun, they keep you out of the rain, they remind you of that wonderful oasis that you're gonna hang out with while you're having this drink. And final one as we dig down deep, drop it in. And just like that, we have a riff on the fancy free, which I like to call the business casual. Cheers.
So this is a business casual made for you by Lord Blaine.
Cheers.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to try this. Oh, yeah. That is lots and lots of layers of flavor.
It's kind of strong.
It's strong. Well, so, you know, a lot of people have been struggling for a while now. And so I wanted to have you both come in because you're in the same business, but you've taken different paths to success. And I think it's interesting for people to hear, you know, what you've gone through and why you made the decisions that you made. So why don't let's just start right there. We'll go ladies first, I know, because Jesse is a consummate gentleman. So Lauren, you know, where were you, you know, about a year ago, and how did it change? How quickly? And then where did you, you know, what were your pivots or your changes that allowed you to survive?
So a year ago, I was working at Umberto Beverly Hills, and the pandemic kind of happened overnight. It was like on the news that it was like in China, maybe in Italy, and then one day our manager texted all of us like in a group chat at 6:30 in the morning that said, "Come collect all your stuff, the government is shutting us down." And I came in that day, I collected all my stuff, and a lot of people were very, very scared to have me near them. Just, it was this, like it was a disease. It was like if you touched them, they would die. It was very, very alarming to everybody. And there was a serious lull for like the first month and a half after the shutdown happened. And eventually, all my clients, thank God, are very vain. And they, like, my ladies would not let their husbands see them, what they actually looked like with their gray hair. And it was like, will you please come to my house? Will you please do my hair outside? And it kind of all happened at once. And it just made more sense to me to like go to clients' homes as protected and safe as possible, everybody in masks, you know, haircuts, color, outside, and it's almost been slightly better for me with there's no overhead. I ended up actually doing a lot better during the pandemic than I did in the salon before. So
Wow.
yeah.
So it sounds like it just sort of happened that way. It wasn't you didn't sit down one day and say, okay, I'm going to, go to my clients' houses. It was really much more organic.
Yeah, I was very afraid to like reach out to my clients just because I didn't know who was going to get me in trouble for doing this and who wasn't going to. It was like, in a way, I was afraid I was going to get like ratted out to the government in a way for like doing this. So I had some clients who were very offended that I never reached out to them, but I was kind of just like trying to cover my butt a little bit and just let them all come to me and reach out to me first to make the initial, hey, will you come take care of me? And word of mouth started kind of like getting around the community in the area that I live in, that like I'm working, I'll go to people's homes, and eventually got back to all my clients who I had not reached out to, that I was going to people's homes. So it kind of was just like a really lovely chain of events where like all my clients ended up reaching out to me eventually. And then on top of that, I gained a much larger clientele also, just from people in the neighborhood.
And Jesse, I know because you're my barber, right? You're the hairstylist for the show as well. So it was very different. I remember when it hit because I think I sent you a text message that day saying, hey, what's going on? So tell us about your experience.
As soon as it happened, it was March 16th or something. And it just like everybody stopped, and I didn't know what to do. I started texting everyone that I would be taking clients on the side, but not at the barbershop, so as to not jeopardize the space. But it didn't happen right away. Like she said, it was at least a month and a half. I actually had moved to Arizona for like a month and a half, and I stayed there just to like get away from LA for a little while and like figure things out. And then once I got a little more courage, I actually was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna figure this out and see how I can turn this around, basically. So a few ideas came to head. I thought about selling packages of haircuts for a little bit cheaper than I would charge for a single haircut, and that worked out a little bit. And it was just still disheartening to this day. Right now, I'm still suffering a little bit. I lost a lot of clients. A lot of people moved away, and right now I'm just focused on keeping the core that I have right now, and building on that.
But you made the decision at some point that you were going to, when you were allowed to,
right,
have your salon open.
Right.
So,
well, so the first lockdown ended, and I was already here. I was, ready to go back to work, and it was good for a little while, and then we got locked down again, and then it was just. Oh man, I just didn't know. Luckily, I started to apply for the government loans, and that's really what helped me out. The SBA PPP loan and the EIDL loan, which is an economic injury disaster loan, two different loans. It's very important. I wanted to touch down on that too, was to have your business set up properly so that you can file for those kinds of loans and everything, and that's basically what saved me. Still, right now to this day, it's still what's saving me. So
was able to take advantage of the various, I think it's called CARE Act programs.
CARES Act programs, that they started. It was, I guess, at the end of March I applied, and by April, the end of April, literally on April 30th, was when they funded. But it's not like I wanted this. I would rather just have my business the way it was before the pandemic started. I was up 30 to 40% from the previous years, and then to just completely drop down to about 30% of the previous years.
It's a huge reversal.
Right.
So, but you made a much more of a conscious decision about you sat down, thought it
Yeah.
through, and this is what I'm going to do.
Well, yeah, I decided I was on the cusp of signing a new lease, and it was supposed to be for a 5-year deal, and I didn't sign where I was supposed to, and I kept pushing it off, and I was supposed to sign in January, and March happened, and I immediately hit the landlord up, and I was like, there's no way that I can sign this 5-year deal. I mean, we have to talk about this. And they're pretty good people. I actually really, really like them. They have taken care of me every step of the way. So they gave me a good deal to stay in the spot instead of leaving. And they were like, look, if you do X, you can stay here. And I said, you know what, that's a good deal, and I'll take care of that. So I was very fortunate because of that and the business loans. Otherwise, I don't know, I probably would be just cutting hair and people's homes, or yeah.
So Lauren, what are your plans? I mean, eventually, whether it's vaccines or whatever it is, eventually things are going to be, I think, get back to much more like they were, before all of this. So as we look to that time, whenever it is, what are your plans, for the future?
Yeah, so I, as soon as the vaccine is distributed to pretty much everybody, I would love to get my own studio. I'd like to have my own independent workspace. I have a feeling, my thing is, a lot of people are saying they're still going to be nervous to go around groups of people even once the vaccine is out. So I do want my own private location just so my clients can at least feel safe. But with that being said, I want to wait till the vaccine gets distributed to everybody, just because those who are working in these private studios, they still have to pay rent on these studios even while the government has them shut down. And I wish I had that extra $500 a week to spend on a workspace that I'm not allowed inside, but that's just not how my life is rolling at the moment. Right. So once the world opens up again and I don't have this fear that there will be a shutdown of my workspace, I would like to get a studio of my own. With that being said, there are still going to be people who are afraid to go into places. I think the fear of what the world has kind of gone through will still linger for some people. For those people, I thank God I have a very, very close relationship with my clients, and they're all family to me, and it would still be my honor to come to their homes and take care of them if they are too, scared to go into a public workspace. So I plan on doing a little bit of both, whether it be my own work studio or still taking care of my clients in their home, just for their own security.
And just, you've told me about some of your ideas for the future, but share some of those with us if you would.
I'm always trying to think of something to better my business, and I need to be adverse, right, because of what's happening right now. So I'm thinking of different ways on how I can get more people to get haircuts from me, right? That's really what I want. I just need more clientele. So why aren't they coming to the barbershop? Or one of the questions that I asked, and I said, well, they're afraid of going out, so maybe I can go to them. But I find when I just go, and obviously it's not the same for everyone, but I find when I go to someone's house to cut their hair, it's a lot more difficult for me than it would be if I had my station and my mirror and my chair that rises and drops and all my tools in the right place. So I was thinking about maybe I should get a mobile thing going and add it to my barbershop experience that I have right now. You can either come to me or I can come to you and have the same exact experience. You can have the same exact experience in either place. The reason why I was thinking that is because when I opened my shop, I bought 2 stations. I have 2 chairs, I have 2 stations, and I never used the other one. So I'm thinking, why not make some money out of that and put it in a van? One of the big ones, or they have, the one that I've been looking at is a Pro Master. They're pretty big and extended. If you think about it, it's like an Amazon van, sort of. So pretty big, and I've seen a few different conversions where they put a whole barbershop inside one of those vans. So I'm thinking about it, and I may still do it even after the pandemic, and just still have both, because I have an extra station, but I don't use it at all. Like, so I might as well try to make some money from it. Yeah.
Right. So, for both of you, for the small business people that are watching this show, what advice would you've both survived? Lauren, you were saying you're actually doing better than before. Jesse, you're a survivor.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's like the quintessential quality of a New Yorker to me is you guys are survivors.
I'm gonna be fine. I feel bad for the other businesses. We talk about it all the time.
Right.
I know I'm gonna be fine because people will always need their haircut. And if you're good at what you do, the money will find you.
Right. So what advice do you have for small business owners that, they're struggling, maybe they're just about ready to, call it a day?
Stay focused. Don't give up. And if you love something, if you love what you do, it's never going to be work. Love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. It'll just be something that you love to do.
Yeah, I second that. And then network, accommodation, and like the passion. When people know that like you love what you do, and you put your heart and soul into it, and you have your smile on your face, even if you have to, drive 30 minutes to get to their house, or, if you are still like struggling to like put that plate of food like in front of your client, if like the restaurant opens up again, like just have so much pride in what you do, and it makes the person that you're serving, the people that you're working with, it makes it just a much more personal relationship. That great relationship helps with word of mouth. It helps with networking, and positivity. Like everybody's going through a really hard time right now, and good energy it just comes back.
Last question. Where do each of you see yourselves, let's say, in 5 years?
Want to go first?
This is where ladies first works against you.
Honestly, if, please God, the pandemic will be done and like completely under control in 5 years from now, I would like to be like happily in my little studio, working on my schedule with my same clients and then some. I think I really do love what I do, and it's really a privilege for me to get to work with all of my clients, because I don't really look at my clients as just like clients, They're like friends of mine who I get to like take care of in a way. And it's like a ridiculous social hour for me almost with my clients. It's really, really fun. So I really still hope to be doing that with those same people in a space where they feel safe, and that's all I really want. That's what I want to be in 5 years.
5 years from now, honestly, I really just want to be happy. That's it. And working. I want my business to thrive, and I want everyone else's business to thrive, and I just want, we've been going through a really tough year. Everyone has, and 5 years from now, I just want like a little more peace, a little more friendship between everyone, a little more happiness and smiling for everyone,
Smiling we can see.
Well, yeah, I'm smiling under this.
I know you are.
Yeah,
I know you are.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you without a smile on your face, man. It's just amazing.
yeah. I really just would like that. We've all got family, younger generations, right, coming up, and that's what I'm afraid of for the most, right, for them. Not really what I'm going through. I just want to make sure that they're going to be good, and everybody else to be good. It's really all I want. Just everybody to be happy, and around me, happiness, and no negativity, like you were saying before. That really brings everything down. It's so true.
Well, I think that's a great note to wrap things up on, and like you said, God willing, both of those visions will come true. Maybe, hopefully, sooner than 5 years. Lauren, Jesse, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us here on the Way to Wow show. I think you will have a very, very positive impact, especially on small business people who are struggling, to see two wonderful people who are really making a go of it and holding on to what's most important to them. Thanks so much.
We appreciate you for
you.
having us. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
That's our show for this week. First of all, want to thank Lord Blaine for coming up with a brilliant cocktail, the Business Casual. I mean, so many layers of flavor, absolutely delicious. Thank you, thank you, thank you to my two guests, Lauren Price and Jesse Cantillo. I urge you to maybe even look at this episode a second time, not to pump our YouTube numbers, but to really take in the advice that they gave us. Both of them, you can see the passion they have for their work. And I share a little, set secret for you here. Our director was telling him he couldn't imagine anybody being passionate about something other than, being in the entertainment business. But you know what? It's clear that they really love what they're doing. And that love for their work and for the people that they help, that they take care of, really makes a difference. We can all bring that to whatever we're doing, our work, our families, our friends. So I encourage you to adopt their philosophy. Courage at all times, my friends. And Marie, you're my belle, darling.